Shout out to everybody who's like, I signed the petition to help him get him out. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to everybody.
Yes.
Have they given you any kind of realistic date on when he's coming?
I wouldn't go on record giving a date right now, but what I will say is that there are movements happening in the background, and the powers that be can clearly see that this was a hatchet job. They can see, based on the evidence, or should I say lack of, everybody can see that. And so there are things happening right now, and like I said, I believe it is much sooner than a lot of people think, much sooner than later. And he's coming. He's coming out. He's coming home.
Cut this out. Girls, we don't cry.
No, let's get those tears right on the camera. It's very real.
Because I've really spent real time with Tory. Like, we were on tour buses together, and I just know his heart.
Wow.
So when all this happened, I was like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't believe it, and I was like, there's no way. I just couldn't believe it. I've spent real time with this man.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. So we want to see him free, and we support you. You know what I mean? Like, because I want to see justice be fairly, executed and served. So
appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Like, is there anything that people can do to help? Is there anything that we can do? Because there's a lot of people that do want to help. Because as you saw, hundreds of thousands signed the petition.
Yeah. I think we're close to, if not north of 400,000 signees on that. But you know what, guys? Right now, I want to say this: death and life is in the power of the tongue. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Solomon, the ancient king, said, whatever you indulge, you're going to eat the fruit of it. So those who do care, I would encourage you, whether it is in prayer or just in daily declaration, to speak exactly as I'm speaking right now. In fact, a lot of people, some people very sincerely wanted to help, and they did free Tory shirts and this kind of thing. Sometimes I wear some of that merch just as I'm out in public. People can see that in front of them. But the truth about it is, my family and I, we are past free Tory. We are, as one person put it out, and it really caught fire. Free Tory till it's backwards. Tory's free. We right now, we don't ask God to free him. We really declare before God what God has told us to do. You've requested, you've asked. If you trust that I'm God and I will do what my word says I'll do, then just thank me now. It's done. You don't need to come back and ask anymore.
He is coming home.
If people who are listening to me, are concerned enough and they want to see him out and asking the questions, what can I do? Then do exactly what I'm telling you right now.
Right.
Speak the word. Declare it to be so. There's a principle of faith in the word of God that we must understand, and that is that Paul the apostle, writing about Abraham's experience when God asked him to offer up Isaac, God never was going to have him kill the kid. He wanted to see, though, does Abraham really trust me to that degree? Would he be willing to give up the most precious thing in his life for me? Would he trust me at that level? And of course, history shows that Abraham was willing. But Paul now tells us why Abraham was willing. In the book of Romans, chapter 4, 17 through 21, Paul tells us that Abraham believed in God, who quickens or makes the dead come to life, and calls the things which are not as though they were. We always hear this saying, well, seeing is believing. No, you've got it but backwards, okay? Seeing is believing for those who only see through their natural eyes. It's like Helen Keller said, there's none so blind as they who have eyes but have no vision.
Man, Pops got deep there. Very spiritual. Open the third eye. Seeing is believing. that's bass backwards. You got to see beyond what is in the physical form in this realm, and be spiritual. Got very biblical with it. Just very strong words from Sonstar Peterson, the father of Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez. As we know, Tory poked up behind that prison wall. It was a very serious situation, and we found out that the dude, there was a lot of wild narratives that came out about that, like false ish getting put out. I mean, that happens with all kinds of news stories in the blogosphere, but with that story, shit got crazy, man. And then we found out that the dude that poked him up was an ex-offender and a cold weirdo and all that, man. And man, as what Tory Lanez is doing better, as we're hearing, and you hear his father saying there's things happening behind the scenes with the powers that be. It's beyond for the Peterson family. As he said, it's beyond. Free Tory Lanez, and speaking of the power of life and death being in the tongue, asking, it sounded to me like for everyone, for their prayers and to speak this all into existence. Comment your thoughts, guys, about those words from Tory Lanez's father in this case, and him getting shanked, and if you believe that there was something tied to his appeal in the case. As the father was saying, it is a hatchet job. There is such a controversial case, man, and there's like, with the internet, the blogosphere being what it is, like, this is crazy times we're living in, like the way campaigns can be spread and pushed in a way people like the button pushers and string pullers and things like that, have always had a lot of tricks that they do, but there's tricks up out of this universe on all different levels nowadays. It's wild, crazy, man. But comment if you believe that, like your personal thoughts about that, him getting poked up. If you believe that it had something to do with him and his appeal. Like if you believe there's some type cover up and all that, as we saw the security guard come forward and say what they claim their truth was in regards to the whole incident and all that. If you think there is some kind of conspiracy going on, but you heard Pops, he said he won't commit to any kind of putting a date out there, but best believe things are happening. Now, Meg Thee Stallion, you see, she's hitting the headlines seemingly in some kind of romance with Klay Thompson. They met up at some gala or something. You see her talking about it was like a movie. Fans caught that she was in the background, or I'm sorry, he was in the background of some of her Insta stories or Insta posts or whatever, and they seem to have something going on as far as a relationship, romance, something like that. Tory fighting for his freedom, Meg linking with Klay Thompson, and her legal team is actually speaking out about the appeal in the case, and they're saying that it's nothing more than the Tory Lanez team and the legal team and all that trying to spin some BS narratives. That's what they're saying. You see, an attorney tied to Meg recently spoke out and said, quote, "There is no new evidence that proves his innocence. And in fact, they're taking evidence that has already been introduced at trial by the prosecution and trying to spin it and claim that this somehow exonerates him." This is someone who's faced with the harsh reality that he was sentenced for his crime to 10 years and has to face his punishment, and is trying to drum up media attention and conspiracy theorists and mouthpieces to continue to harass and terrorize and re-victimize Meg, who just wants to put a close to this painful chapter on her life, now going 5 years later. That's what the attorney tied to Meg was saying. As you see, Meg is moving on with her life, linking with Klay Thompson. But definitely some very powerful words there from Tory's pops, Sonstar Peterson. Again, getting very spiritual, biblical, and much more. So, what will happen with the case? What do you believe truly about it all, about him being shanked, about the appeal, about the case in general? What do you think about her, Clay Thompson, everything we covered on this one? Chime in, tap in, sub up. It's coffee. I'm going to get with y'all on the next one.